do Tim Tebow, Jordan Sparks, and Lolo Jones all have in common? Huh? They have promised not to have sex until they get married. It's a trend that a lot of people are embracing today. But you might be asking, is that realistic? Essence Magazine tackles that very issue head on in this month's issue. Sharia Jackson wrote the article about staying true to yourself and your faith while dating and while looking at the cover with LL on it. She joins me along with Kenny Pugh, and Kenny wrote the book, Can You Do It Standing Up? A Different Position on Relationships. Catchy title, Kenny, yeah. For a celibate man. Are more people really not having sex today? What do you think?
I actually think a lot more people are sexually active these days. It's the reason why I wrote the book, because I noticed that more people are engaging in premarital sex. And so I wanted to make sure that we got back to the whole core of celibacy being sexy.
Yeah, and I've noticed, too, that more people are talking about it, or at least more comfortable saying if they are celibate. But I don't know, is this just a fad? What's going on? And you've got a cute little T-shirt over here, too. What's that say? I've never seen a shirt like that in my life. What's it say?
It says celibacy is sexy.
Celibacy is sexy.
And on the back it says, I am worth the wait.
Ah, now that's a positive message for a lot of people for different reasons. Why is it right for you? Because you've decided now you're going to be celibate.
Right. I've been celibate for over 7.5 years now, and it's a vow that I made for spiritual reasons. And then I've just noticed over a period of time in dealing with people from a coaching perspective that a lot more people are sexually active during their dating relationships, and it's transitioning and it's not translating into positive, healthy relationships.
And I know there are people who are watching like, how in the world are you doing? Because I'm dying. I've got smoke coming out my ears. Sharia, you talked with a few people in your article who say that they're making that commitment. What did you find out?
We found that it definitely are more couples who are interested in it, and like you said, society today is definitely more embracive of a sexual liberation, and so the norm is for a consensual or a couple in a monogamous relationship to engage in sex before marriage. But we also found that there is support groups that are blossoming up. We have two couples in our article who say we are going to wait until marriage, and so I think that support is great to see it with organizations, and so it's good to see that there are couples who are sort of making that commitment. But we also encourage women to embrace their sexuality, because I think a lot of it does come from faith and out of the church, and so it's sort of that dual message of inside of church I might hear no sex until marriage, but the second I walk outside of church, everyone's doing it. So how do you find a path that works for you? Yeah,
and you make a great point. And then there's also people who don't go to church. There's the whole health aspect of it.
Yes.
People talking about doing it for that reason, to stay healthy and not, risk their health. Kenny, what do you think with young men who, hormones are cranking up, especially, for the teenagers? How do they go about being abstinent? I mean, you've really got to put the horse blinders on, so to speak.
Yeah, one of the issues is the whole manhood being tied to how many women you've had sex with.
Right.
And trying to dispel that, trying to eliminate that mindset, that train of thought. And so I usually solicit the help of women, because we typically go where women allow us to go. And so I think there's a dual approach that we can take there, as well as just understanding that your manhood is not tied to your sexuality. You don't get, brownie points for having sex with more women. That's something that is just kind of
it's a turnoff for some women.
Yeah, it is. It's like a caveman approach to life, and that's not how we're supposed to live.
Yeah, and Sharia, what do you think about this whole trend? Do you think it's, I don't know, is there a trend going on with this, with people being more vocal about, hey, I'm celibate, like people like Tebow and Lolo?
I don't see it as a trend, but I do think people are starting to feel those social cues. So you do see these people in the limelight, so it makes it okay for me. So you see a lot of people who've lied about sex. So a lot of times you'll see this research where I might say I've been with X amount of people, and really it might be less. So I think it's great to see that people are more comfortable to publicly say where they stand on it. And it also encourages and frees other people up. And I wish we could clone him, because it really is empowering to see more men. And so from the article, when we interviewed this young couple, Armand Mosley wrote a book on him sort of deciding to be celibate. And he also was honest. He said, well, it's easier from a man's perspective, because you have more women who are looking to be celibate than men. So a lot of the women we interviewed who were celibate more so because of their faith said sometimes it is a little more difficult to find the type of guy who's willing to wait, but also their faith gives them more freedom and just feel more empowered in dating. And so they're praying or really feeling more positive in their dating experience.
Now, and Sharia, and I've got to wonder this, you, Kenny, too. I mean, Tim Tebow, okay, so people know him as being this hunky football player, but you got to think that more women are chasing him now because he's more high profile. He's got to have those women just clawing at him, running after him.
You know, I went to a dating conference in January in Las Vegas, the iDate conference, and I have to tell you, they had these flyers in Vegas that said, you could get $1 million if you could prove that Tebow wasn't a virgin. And so it's really, you do get this spotlight on your back when you do come out publicly. So I commend people like him who do sort of step up and say, this is where I stand, and also encouraging others to possibly consider that as an alternative. Yeah,
well, Sharia and Kenny, a very interesting topic, of course, definitely. Celibacy, being sexy. So thank you very much, guys.
All right, thanks for having us.
You bet.
Thank you.